Welp, we are back, contemplating additions or subtractions that I wish to see in a game that was promised 5 years ago, that we probably won't get to play until 5 years from now. Also, the game prior came out approximately 11 years and 4 months ago from the making of this video, and all we have is a singular teaser trailer. Congrats Bethesda, because the expectations are building. And I don't mean this in a negative connotation. I am genuinely excited for The Elder Scrolls 6, perhaps unhealthily so. I have legitimately been waiting for this game since I was 15 years old. Actually, before then. It was before the teaser trailer came out. Since then, I have graduated high school and begun college. But enough of my life story here. Here is what we need to see in The Elder Scrolls 6. Similar to last time, I will begin the conversation by saying I want a beautifully crafted, well-made game. Glitches and bugs should be at the minimum at launch. And yes, I understand the track record of Bethesda games. Let's just, what does Todd say? Keep the features to a minimum? Okay, so shall I discuss the first kind demand I have? Time to transfer to another game series for a minute, the Middle-earth games, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Personally, I love these games. They are probably in my top 5 favorite game series, but not necessarily because they are better than most. The reason is I have an extreme affinity for fantasy worlds, especially Middle-earth. One of the key reasons for the game's success and replayability is what they dub the Nemesis System. If you are not familiar, the Middle-earth games have a pecking order of orcish grunts, captains, and war chiefs. If one of the grunts kills you, they move up the order, becoming a captain, and then they can even work all the way up to being a war chief. Now, wouldn't it be an interesting fold in an Elder Scrolls game that instead of always dying when slain by an enemy, preferably a humanoid, you were captured, or imprisoned, robbed, left for dead? Maybe gold was taken from your purse, or the elegant Daedric artifact you had been carrying was stolen. You then have to find the bandit that stole it if you want it back. Upon arrival, you see they are now the leader of the clan, having passed up through the ranks using the weapon he ripped from your body to destroy all before them. You can best the new chieftain, or you could fail, only feeding their strength. Now I am aware that Warner Bros. Owns the right to the Nemesis system, but there are always loopholes and workarounds, so Bethesda can make their own system. Now, you can implement the system or a similar one at least into your Skyrim games via mods, which wonderful creators put tons of effort into. Even though I know modders would eventually implement this into The Elder Scrolls 6 as well, I would love to see Bethesda's take and official implementation of it. Next up, I wish to see more unique dungeons, bosses, and rewards. Yeah, that's 3 things. Guess what? I make the videos and they make sense together. What do you remember when you play Skyrim? Specifically when it comes to the dungeons. You remember places like Bleak Falls Barrow, Ustengrove, Blackreach, Nachardak, or Kagramez. Love them or hate them, they all had something in common. They were all either expertly handcrafted or had unique mechanics only found within them, and usually both. I truly believe dungeon design has been an issue since Oblivion days. Oblivion undoubtedly had the worst dungeon designs since they were mostly randomly generated messes pieced together to make some sense. Then in Skyrim, a serious downfall was the monotony of dungeons. Nordic dungeons all looked the same and felt the same. You can say that for Dwarven ones as well, although I have a biased affinity towards those. I just want to see unique, handcrafted dungeons with cool puzzles, mechanics, and environmental storytelling. Once you reach the end of one of these beautiful, handcrafted dungeons, I want there to be unique bosses. No more same old, let there be wrinkles. Why do all the dragon priests look and fight the same? Why is every Dwarven Centurion exactly the same other than a singular unique one found in the Ethereum Forge? Yes, I know, they were mechanically assembled to be the same killing machine, but to think they wouldn't have certain specialties is just unrealistic. The Draugr Deathlord you face at the end of a dungeon was once a powerful lord or warrior. They should look different and battle uniquely. The same thing goes for bandit chiefs. They shouldn't just be standard bandits with upgraded leveled heavy armor. Make some feared battle mages or crossbow-wielding snipers that can eliminate you before you reach them, because they are placed in a unique camp that happens to have a watchtower they stay in, so they can eliminate enemies before they can even lay a blade upon them. Suddenly, the player needs to use tactics, and they need to take a different approach every time, or at least more often. Finally, once you defeat these epic bosses and they're excellent, let me emphasize, handcrafted dungeons. Why not gift the player with something unique? It could be a sword, an armor piece, or even a cool spell that can only be found there, but please Bethesda, make more cool things. Most importantly, make these unique things actually unique. Why is the axe of Whiterun just some shoddily crafted iron battle axe that any toddler with leather straps and iron ingots can craft? The items don't have to be overpowered or even more powerful than their basic counterparts just to make them seem different. Just make them different. Lastly, for this video is a fully fleshed out optional, and I truly emphasize optional, survival system. I don't want a survival game where I cannot fast travel to and from locations, or where if I don't time the eating of my warm soup to the right moment, I would starve and freeze to death simultaneously. At least, I don't want that on the first few playthroughs. I always think of Fallout 4 and its survival mode that was released about 4 months after the initial launch. This mode was legitimately good. Sure, there were improvements that could have been made, balances that could have been had, but it was still good. Now just work from that point on for The Elder Scrolls 6. We got one with Anniversary Edition, but if I'm being honest, I don't think it was all that great. No offense to the creator, it just wasn't my style of survival mod. It seemed unbalanced, with the Dragonborn having to eat 7 well-rounded meals a day to survive. I mean, if I ate a whole goat quarter, I would imagine I wouldn't be that hungry, and please, if you eat a whole loaf of bread, trust me, you will be full for a while. The mod Frostfall, which implements one of the best survival systems, is also one of the most popular Elder Scrolls mods ever, so plenty of people want a survival mode. It would not be a waste to include, yet like anything, it must be implemented properly. Make sure you won't just die because a bandit sneezed on you, or because you slipped into a puddle. It was implied earlier, but this would also increase the replayability of the game. When Fallout 4's version released, I had already played through the game a few times, and survival mode gave it a new breath of life for me. It almost totally changes the way the game is played, and when one game turns into 2, that is a recipe for success. Yes, I know the previous video had 5 things, and this one only has 3, but I feel as if they all fit with each other well into one video, and I wish to have content for later. Overall, these 3 additions would greatly improve the open world experience, making it so you could play a character who just explores and adventures, and in the end, my biggest wish is a game that can be played a plethora of ways, so this is my best wish. Make sure to leave your thoughts and requests in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also check out the other links in the description. Lastly, thank you to my patrons, Haley and Carrie. You are both greatly appreciated, and as always, I hope to see you all in the next one. Goodbye.